Welcome to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. If you're unaware what this subreddit is, it's basically stories about encounters with rude parents that think the world owes them everything because they have kids. So sit back, relax, and let's get annoyed. Entitled Mom Uber driver takes us on a surprise diaper run. I feel like this subreddit has made me more aware of my entitled parent encounters. Background: my husband and I were going out to dinner, and both wanted to drink, so we called an Uber. Let's meet the cast. Husband, entitled mom, and me. We got in the Uber and I had to wedge in the middle because there was a large car seat set up in one of the seats, and the front seat had a bunch of stuff on it. Don't know what she would have done if there were 4 people. There was a conspicuous tip jar that said, "Help out a working mama, $5 and up." Considering my entire ride was supposed to cost $11 and Uber is cheap out here, I don't know where she pulled that figure from. But I worked full-time when raising my kids, and I know times can be tight, so I didn't want to judge. Right away, that driver started talking up a storm. Normally, this would be perfectly fine, but my husband and I were in the middle of a serious discussion when we got in the car. A friend has cancer and got bad news, but the driver kept cutting in with spontaneous questions. "Do you use Uber often? What do you do for work?" etc. Not wanting to be rude, we answered the questions and reciprocated. All I could think to ask, because I was a little distracted by the sad news, was, "How do you like Uber?" This kicked off a whole long session of oversharing. Me: "How do you like driving for Uber?" "Well, I'll be honest, it's not the best. It's just that there aren't any other jobs that have mommy hours, you know? Besides ones that require a degree or drug testing or some shiz." "Well, I guess setting your own hours is nice." "Oh yeah, being a mom is so crazy and your schedule has to completely revolve around the baby. I don't know who the dad is, and I have my suspicions, but none of the guys I thought it could be would consent to a paternity test, so, well, I guess I'm on my own." "Well, good for you getting out there and making it happen." There's a brief silence and we go back to our conversation. In the middle of it, entitled mom again: "I was up with my kid all night last night. It was pretty crazy. I had to leave her with a friend just to find some time to work, because I had to take a nap, because I've tried doing Uber with no sleep before, and that's not a mistake I'm gonna make twice." Yeah, wow. I was hoping to signal that we didn't feel like talking, and it worked. But all of a sudden, she pulled off into a Costco parking lot. Husband: "Oh, excuse me, is everything okay?" "Yeah, this Costco just isn't on my way home, so would it be okay if I run in and buy some diapers?" Side note: the app was still charging us. "No, actually, we're running late to meet people." "Must be nice to have time to go out and see friends. You guys are on mommy hours now. Gotta get in where it fits in. I'll just be a second." So we thought, why argue with her? We're going to call a new car. We didn't want to cancel her because it would charge us a fee, so we just sent her a message asking her to cancel and explaining why we had to get going. We thought that would be the end of it, but no, she called us. "Where did you go? I've been waiting for you for over a half an hour of time I could have spent working." It hadn't even been 15 minutes since she left us, so that was a lie. Me: "We sent you a message, we couldn't wait like we were explaining to you earlier." "You took away my working time. You owe me big. Cancel the ride and you better leave a nice tip for putting me through all this. Really, the nerve." And she's still going on and on about how now she's going to be late to pick up her kid. She sets her own hours, so I don't even know how that's possible. And finally, my husband just said, "Yeah, we're not doing that, sorry." At that point, he just canceled so she couldn't call anymore, and we wrote to dispute the fee. Thankfully, Uber refunded it. It was a small amount, but no way I was paying anything for that experience. As an ex-Uber driver myself in Chicago, I 100% believe this story. Uber will literally let anyone with a car and a clean background drive, and I've heard my fair share of nightmare stories from passengers about drivers. Let me connect to your hotspot. So I was at the hospital with my family at 1 a.m. because my little sister, 2.5 years old, was having a very bad cough. I pulled out my phone as I had nothing to do, and there was at least a 30-minute wait before the doctor could see us. My big sister was not part of the data pool for our family yet, so I hotspotted her so she could keep her 2 gigabytes for times when I'm not there. We must have had our conversation pretty loud because a woman comes up to me and asks if I could hotspot her too because she needed to make a WhatsApp call to someone. Being sleepy at 1 a.m., I just said yes and asked for her phone so I could enter the password. You know the cast already. Entitled Mom, just tell me the password. I don't feel comfortable giving my phone to strangers. I get that, but in the same way, I don't feel comfortable giving strangers my password. Come on, you can trust me. I promise I won't do anything. Sorry, but I won't do that. Fine. Her tone suggested that she was doing me a favor by using my data. She hands me her phone and I enter the password. She walks away, and 40 minutes later, when my parents are with the doctor, she walks back in with an iPad in her hand. Entitled Mom, enter the password on this too, and be quick about it. No, and I only allowed you to use it for a call. Just shut up and connect it. It's not like you need all the data to yourself. Big sis, hey. I tell her not to get involved. I knew how to handle her since I knew about this subreddit. Entitled Kid, I want to watch this kid's show now. Entitled Mom to Entitled Kid, just a minute. To me, look what you're doing to Entitled Kid. Just give me the damn password. Enough. First, it's my data and I can do whatever the hell I want with it. Secondly, you said 1 call for 10 minutes, not 40. Lastly, I'm turning my network off. My big sister was just listening to music, so it wouldn't bother her. Entitled Mom, watch your tone with me, and I'll just play it on my phone, which is connected, and if you turn it off... I thought of something to piss her off further. Me, fine, I won't turn it off. Entitled Mom smugly, that's what I thought. She walks away and plays some kid stuff on her phone, and as I hear the video playing, I turn it off. Entitled Kid, Mommy, make the phone work. Entitled Kid starts whining, screaming, and kicking Entitled Mom. She fends off her hellspawn and angrily walks towards me. You idiot, turn the Wi-Fi back on. I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong person. Shut up, smartass, and turn the Wi-Fi back on. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't recognize you. You must have the wrong person. I'm calling security and getting you kicked out. Me snickering. Okay, ma'am, you do you. She comes back with a security guard and says, he's the one who stole my phone. Arrest him. Security guard, is this true? Me. No, and if you want, I can show you why. I proceed to tell him the specifications of my phone, and if he called the contact's sister, it would call my sister's phone, who was right next to me. Entitled Mom, no, he changed all of that. My phone didn't have a lock. Then whose phone is that? I point towards her hellspawn, who had taken her phone out of her pocket and was trying to play a video. Entitled Mom, that's Entitled Kid's phone. What about the iPad? I turn to security guard. She has an iPad which is probably in her bag, which was used by Entitled Kid. Security guard asked her to show the contents of her purse, which she hesitantly did, and it revealed an iPad. She was asked to leave the building, but she begged as her kid was sick and needed a doctor, so the guard let her stay, but she was seated in a different area than me. My parents came out with my little sister and we went home. Haven't been to the same hospital since, as it's in an area with such people, but it was the only one open at 1 a.m. that day. Thanks for reading. Entitled Mom wants me to give up seat on a 10-hour flight. When I refuse, she claims I stole the seat. Let's meet the cast. Entitled Mom, Entitled Grandma, Spoiled Brat, and me, and flight attendant. This happened about a year ago, but I just booked tickets for another long flight and it made me think of this. I was flying from Hawaii to New York and had a layover in Chicago. The flight from Hawaii to Chicago was about 10 hours long, and I had booked my flight well in advance so I could have my choice of seats. I chose the window seat on the exit row, and as I was waiting in the airport, I got excited knowing my seat was going to be perfect. We start boarding and I'm one of the first groups to board, so I make sure I have everything I need from my bag, put my headphones on, and start my Netflix binge. About 10 minutes in, the woman next to me taps me on the shoulder. Entitled Grandmother, hi sweetie. I'm flying with my family and my granddaughter would like to be in the window seat. I should explain the layout of the plane. There's 3 seats on the left and right side and 4 seats in the middle. Entitled Grandmother and her husband were sitting in the seats next to me on my side, and the rest of her family, entitled mom and her 3 kids, all between 2 and 8 years old, were sitting in the middle row. Me: I'm sorry, I chose this seat because of how long of a flight it's going to be. I would offer to let her sit here during takeoff and then switch, but she looks really young and I don't think they allow children to sit in the exit row. Entitled mom overhearing our conversation: So you're just going to be heartless and deny my daughter her window seat? Spoiled brat: Mom, you told me I can have it. Tell her it's mine. She starts having a temper tantrum and screaming while sitting in the aisle, holding up the entire line of people trying to get to their seats. Entitled grandmother: Look what you did. You broke that little girl's heart. I hope you know there's a special place in hell for people like you. The flight attendant had heard the girl's tantrum at this point and started coming over. Flight attendant: What seems to be the issue? Me: These people asked me to switch. Entitled mom: This girl stole my daughter's seat. She shoved her way in as I was helping my daughter with her bag, and now she refuses to give the seat back. Me: I have my ticket that shows this is my seat. Entitled grandmother: She stole that ticket from my grandbaby. I saw her do it. Me, extremely frustrated at this point. It has my name on it, and I have my license to prove it's my name. Flight attendant looks over everything. Flight attendant: This is her seat. Also, your daughter is way too young to be in an exit row. Please don't disturb this young lady again. The rest of the flight, I endured dirty looks from the family, and at one point, entitled grandma tried to spill a drink on me as the flight attendant was handing it to me. Hopefully this next flight, I can just sit in silence. Thanks for checking out my video, guys. I hope these stories filled you with all the feels. Also, share this video with a friend, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're new, or a Karen will hide in your closet and stare at you while you sleep.